Hello guys, this is Tayo. Welcome to the part 2 of the Power BI tutorial for beginners. So in the part 1, we created these visualizations and I told you that we can always change our visualizations from one type to another depending on how we want it. So I'm going to go back and change these to the clustered bar chart. Just because I prefer it, you can change yours to anything you prefer. And I'm going to put it at the top left corner, then maybe just resize it a little bit. All right, now what we'll do in this video is create 4 5 or more visuals to to have a wonderful dashboard, because that's the essence of creating a dashboard. Actually, having 2 or more visualizations to in your canvas to gain insight from. That's basically visual dashboard. So that's what we are going to do in this part. So we create 4 5 or more visualizations, then we arrange them to have a good visualization, to have a good dashboard. So what we will do next is create a visualization that compares the population of a country with the cases, with the total cases or total COVID-19 cases in the country. So what we'll do is now there's when it comes to comparison, especially in this context of COVID-19, there is a visualization I always like to use. It's called the 100% stacked column chart. Now we have 100% stacked column chart. We have 100% stacked bar chart. So just like the clustered column chart and clustered bar charts, the 100% stack bar chart and 100% stack column chart are, the difference is just the difference between the first one. So now when you select this, so you can move it anywhere, then you put your population. Remember I told you you can select, or you can just drag into the visualization, then you select countries, drag into the sorry, you drag countries into the visualization. So you see, now you may say, you may wonder, why is everything the same size? That's the point of 100% stacked chart. Everything will be in now when we add the second variable, that's when you see the difference. So now we're going to add the total cases. You can decide to put it straight up in the y-axis or still drop it in the visualization. It is still the same thing. Now what you're saying is how now, okay, let me just put this in the focus mode so that we can have a better view. So what you're seeing here is, based on this legend, you see that population is the light blue, while the total cases is the darker one. Now in USA, for instance, this is how the COVID-19 has eaten up the population. Now it does not mean that France, please, I need you to understand this visualization before you go ahead and use it. It does not mean that France has the highest COVID-19 cases, but what this visualization is saying is that France, the COVID-19 cases in France has eaten up the has larger percentage, I don't know, compared to the population of France. So what this is saying is that 34% of France population has COVID-19, yeah, has tested positive for COVID-19. Now why in US is only 22% of the population. Now this does not mean that France has more cases than USA. As a matter of fact, the case for the total cases in France is okay, this 34 million, while in USA this is 97 million. So please, I need you to understand the stack chart before you go ahead and use it. So why I just prefer to use this is that um we can know how a country is faring. In this case, I would say France is maybe struggling. Now, the funniest part about this visualization is India has about um, you know um, 44 million cases. As at when this data was populated, India has about 44 million cases, and this 44 million represents just 3% of the population. Meanwhile, France has 34 million cases, and this represents 34, almost 35% of the France population. So this may give you some insight that even though COVID-19 is very, very high in India, it has not, eating up the population as it has in France. So these are type of insights you may pick out from your visualization. So let's leave this at that. Now let's go ahead and let's just resize this a little bit and create another visualization. Then we'll resize everything later. I mean, rearrange everything. So let's know the active cases. Now the total cases is different from active cases. So the total cases is all the cases that has happened in a particular country. Now some of these cases, some might have died, some might have recovered, some are still active. So it's only the active cases we want to check now. So we want to check the active cases by country. This time around, I'm going to use the clustered bar chart again, which is this. So the reason I like to use um, the bar chart is especially when my variable has when my data set has long variables. In the case of country, we have many countries, so I just prefer to have it like this. All right, so I'm going to select active cases and select the country. Now again, let's put this in a focus mode. So you can see USA, Korea, Japan, Vietnam. These are countries with highest active cases. Now these are not countries with the highest cases. Again, there is difference between the active cases and the total cases. So okay, maybe as at now you may wonder, okay, maybe these are the countries that we should focus more on. USA, it seems they are really battling with this disease. All right, so now we've done this, let's go ahead and create another one that says, okay, death. We want to know, where COVID-19 has killed more, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and now when you want to when I want to, we've done different type of visualizations. Then there is one for the there is one where I think I want us to use the map for this one. All right, now to use the map visualization in Power BI, you must be connected to the internet, otherwise your data will not the map will not populate your data. So go ahead and select the map visualization. It's one of my favorite visualizations in Power BI. So when you select the map, you know click the country. If you take it to the location, then click the we want to the date, which is total. Okay, total date, so check that as well. All right, so it will pop up now depending on your internet speed. So now we have our map visualizations, and from the map we can see um you know how, okay, for instance, the bigger the size, of course, obviously the higher the debt value. So you can click on any of the bubbles then to know which particular country it is and the number of debt. So you may want to click these, say that okay, this is New Zealand and they have about 3,000 deaths. So USA, the the biggest is USA, which has about 10 million deaths. Or yeah, am I correct? Okay, sorry, 1 point something million deaths. So that's how to use the map visualization. So there's still some, you can do some changes to the map. We'll come to that as well. But let's just focus on, creating the visualizations. Then in the subsequent parts, we'll talk about how to, design them to make it look more appropriate. So the next, okay, so we have 4 visuals now. The next, let's create 2 or more, then we can have a dashboard. So let's see how countries are vaccinated. So we are going to have a vaccinated by country chart, and let's use the bar chart again. All right, so I'm going to use or let's use okay, let's use bar chart. So I'm going to click this, then select the countries and be vaccinated. So again, we have a bar chart. Then okay, let's create one more. Okay, let's create a gauge. um the gauge is one of my favorite visualizations actually. So what this will do is that now when you create a gauge, it is not really um it's not really ideal to start, checking the boxes like we have been doing. I think it's very, very important to drag and drop in the respective field. So the gauge, what we want to do is let's create it so that you can have an idea of what it does. So the value, we want to know the total vaccinated, compared to the population of each country. So vaccinated will be our value, then total cases, will be um okay, let's say target. Sorry, where did I put that? Total cases, will be our target. Then population will be our maximum value. All right, now let me explain these visualizations to you. What we've done is this is this the whole curve is the world population. Now this is COVID-19, the total cases. Now that's the total cases. Then sorry, that's the total vaccinated. Sorry, this is the total vaccinated. So then this is the gauge of the total COVID-19 cases. So what this gauge is telling you now is that more than, okay, the total cases is 614 million, then about 5 billion people have been vaccinated according to the data source. So that's not according to me, it's according to the data source. So 5 billion people have been vaccinated, and the COVID-19 cases we've had is less than a billion. So that's the interpretation of this gauge. So what we did is put the population as the maximum value, then the total COVID-19 cases as the target, which is this place, then the vaccinated as the value. So this will tell you that we vaccinated a lot more than the total cases we've had. So I hope you understand the context of this visualization, because when you don't even understand the 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 purpose, you may not get it right. So what I intended to do is to know if at least certain, or at least more than the total COVID-19 cases, more than that number have been vaccinated, and in this case far more than that number has been vaccinated. So about 5 billion out of 8 billion of what population have been vaccinated. So if you have not been vaccinated, so you belong to this whitish area, and if you have been vaccinated, you belong to this blue area. All right, so I think that covers it. All right, let's create some cards. Let's create some cards. So card visualizations are very straightforward. Are very straightforward. So all you need to do is, okay, now we want to, at a glance, we just want to see the figures, so that, okay, for total cases, so the card, this is a card visualization. So just click card. When you click card, select um you know what you want. So in this case, I want to see, okay, the total cases. You can drag, you can select. So okay, we have 614 million cases. Then select, or okay, let's just make this, let's change the size. So instead of creating a new card, let me reduce the size, because I want to have four cards. All right, so instead of creating a new card, let's just click this, let's copy it and paste it 3 times. So this will save your time. All right, let me just put them anyhow for now. Like I said, we'll arrange everything very well. All right, so let's go ahead and change the data in each one. So this one, we have the total cases, we have the total recovered, then we have let's go ahead and click this. We have okay, let's check the date. Let's have the date. Okay, this one, let's have active cases. All right, so with this card, you can easily tell that, okay, we have about 614 million cases, 591 have recovered, then 7 are dead, unfortunately, may their soul rest in peace, and 14 million are the active cases as at when this data was populated. So now, normally we've not, this is not the dashboard. We are supposed to arrange it properly, have border, change the background color, change data color, and all those things. But at least this is a start. And the good thing about Power BI is the relationship. For instance, when I click Europe as a continent, you see that all of these cards and everything changes accordingly. So you see, in Europe alone, we have 200 million cases, 4 million active cases, and so on. So when you click Asia, the data will change accordingly too. So when you click others, everything change accordingly. All right. So guys. In the next part, um okay, I just noticed something before we proceed. Now take a look at the gauge. So in our others continent, again, you will know about these others if you watch the Power Query lecture. In the others continent, um more we've vaccinated lesser people than the cases. That is about 136 million cases has happened in that particular continent, and only about 97 million people have been vaccinated. So this is how to know which continent is lacking. This is the purpose of the gauge charts. So when you click different continents, you see the gauge, it changes accordingly. So you see Asia is well vaccinated, if you can see. Then let's check North America. So all these countries are well vaccinated, except, okay, except others. Although the others is not a real continent, but it's I'm happy that it's fitting right into this tutorial. So that's it, guys. That's for some people, this is okay for them. They've gotten the insight they need and everything. So in the next lecture, in the next part, or in the next class, we're going to talk about how to edit this, create design. If you need to design the dashboard, all those things, you may want to change the colors. And we will, of course, we'll do some edits with the title, the legend, the font, all those things. We'll do them in the next class. So see you in the next class, guys.